yes, companies are really hiring, and not only hiring, I would say it is massively hiring. It is better to retain your job and continue with your existing job. Leadership profile demands for three things. Presentation, you need to be very serious because you are one among the 1,000 candidates. We are not at all in that era. They are not ready to recruit a guy who has mentioned, I'm looking for a job change in LinkedIn profile. You have to improve your technical muscle.
We'll have a very brief discussion about how to handle this kind of critical situation during this lockdown, how to manage our work, or how to manage the profile or profession, or all these things. So let me start with some few direct questions, like rapid fire questions. So I just want to know, like, whether do MNCs still hiring during this lockdown?
Thank you, Abhilash, for this time, and it's always pleasure to give some insights towards job and career, because it always helps many of the people where there is a lot of blind spot in most of the cases. So answering to your question, yes, companies are really hiring, and not only hiring, I would say it is massively hiring. Okay, because for that reason, as you might know, there's a financial year start, like April is something, a financial year start where a lot of people do a lot of restructuring onto their business. So where hiring is also one of the structured way of planning which they have started. So first quarter being first quarter, April, May, June is a first quarter. So massive hiring is happening.
Oh, that's great to hear, sir. So this work from home option, like many people are right now in full pressure. Like I can even see some news articles recently. Like many people are started searching in Google also how to handle this work from home situation. Like they are facing overloaded work, especially after this lockdown. And many people are trying to move away from the current job. So can you please tell me whether is this a correct time to move on to a new job, especially during this pandemic period?
That's a very relevant question. The problem is we have been restructuring from 2019 way of working and 2020 way of working. So we are kind of a settle down process where we went to an office and work for 9 to 5, and now it's becoming 9 to 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the night. So it's become 14 hours, 15 hours of job. So obviously the transition from a regular physical office setup to a work from home setup, well, the change in process, change in transformation of the entire change will be, initially there will be a lot of hiccups. But to say the real fact, initially first 3 months people enjoyed doing that, because whatever they were missing during the office hours, they were enjoying during work from home. But since it is continuing, people are getting a more overloaded work, because our managers and seniors say that you are always in home, so you're obviously can take overload and all that. But as you rightly said, it is hectic. More and more load, more and more availability doesn't mean that we can take more overload. So we'll have to have a clarity on which is our priority and which is others' priority. So accordingly, we will have to manage time and allocate the task which is relevant to the team, rather than we take every load. That cautious decision we have to take as an individual, so that we manage our own time. Okay. Does it means like we have 24 hours, doesn't mean that I have to work 15 hours, 20 hours for an office. Right. Okay. So that's one. Answering to your sub question, people are looking for a change, and opportunities is also even more better. Right. So now as per the restructuring, now people are working from home. So obviously remote jobs are in big time hiring. Okay. So to tell you the reality of hiring, people who are hiring from Bangalore, now they can hire from Coimbatore, Pune, like tier 2 cities. So obviously their way of hiring becomes even more easier in terms of costing factor. because whatever CTC I should offer to a Bangalore guy may not even applicable to Coimbatore guy. So that way, cost wise is a benefit for the employer, and at the same price, I'm getting a right resources. Okay. So that is why the opportunities are immense. It is up to us whether to move to a different role at this point in time. So it's a very customized decision you have to take in your career.
Okay. But actually, as you told, like, there will be a lot of remote job openings has been recently it's been increased. So, so again, the question, what I'm asking, like, the same question, I have decided, like quitting my current job. Is that the right time to switch over to that new job, or should I manage in this particular hectic situation in my current company and I have to come out from that? Or should I wait for a few more months to have a better career? Like, as you told, there are a lot of remote jobs. It's fine. But still, if I want to have a better career, rather than like, I know before lockdown itself, I have been overpressured from the current job. So I already planning to switch over to the new job. But suddenly the lockdown and all this pandemic second wave has increased. So should I have to plan my current job very smoother instead of searching for a new job? So this is my question. So which will you, as a recruiter, which one you will suggest, and which will be better for a person who are trying to have a career transition during this pandemic?
As long as you're happy with your current job, designation, task, salary, you're okay to move on. Okay. The point comes where we are unhappy with the designation, with the salary and the office task, office overloaded. That is why we are thinking whether to take a risk or not. Right? Okay. So if you have to ask in the risk factor, yes. Whenever there is a risk, we have to calculate the data pointers on whichever is the right decision and whichever is the wrong decision. Because at this point in time, it's all uncertainty which we are hitting up. Okay, we don't know what will happen next month. We don't know what will happen for next quarter. Okay, so if you feel like there is a risk and you don't have a particular data on a target job, it is better to retain your job and continue with your existing job. Okay. Or if you feel I'm done and dusted for 4 years, 5 years, and then really want to look for a change, then you have to spend time on researching that particular target job and target company so that you understand whether they are really progressing and whether this particular industry is really booming and they are really selling their products online. Okay. So now for at least for next 5 years, people will be selling their products online. Okay. Be it any industry. Most of the industries are converting from the traditional process to the traditional logistics of supplying to the digital sales model. Okay. So the choice of company depends on that. Whether they are able to sell their products and service through online is what the first question you have to answer for yourself in understanding the current, understanding the target industry and target company. Number one. Okay. Once you're clear, they are able to sell their products online. Then you have to look at whether this particular product is really in need for the people. Okay. I cannot sell a product which there is no need at all. So you'll have to understand what we are consuming on a day-to-day basis, right? From morning to end of night, what is our basic needs? For that, whatever we are spending. Okay. In that category, if your target company is coming, then it is good to go. Okay. If it is a retail company, if it's a software company, if it is healthcare company, medical, all that is we are consuming on a day-to-day basis. Correct? Okay. So that way you have to choose whether I mean really need. Okay. If at all something it is a secondary need, okay, then you have to question yourself whether I will be growing, because if there is no sales happening, obviously they will say we don't have a job continue, we don't have a projects. That kind of an answer will pop up from the company. So obviously this is the basic research you have to do before getting into a next target job. Understand the industry, understand the company, and then get into those ideas of reworking your resume. And especially the third point is ask for yourself whether you have the skill to contribute to that particular company.
And as you told, like, like I know that I'm very poorly skilled. how to improve my skill, or what are the most expected skills you consider as me as a fresher? So how to identify the best skills which I have to get it trained, and or what are the main skills which will be mostly expected by the recruiters during this time of pandemic recruitments?
As you rightly said, we are getting into pandemic situation. So obviously, think in point of how a business can run during this process. Okay, it is all through IT automation. Okay, so the dependency on manual work is getting reduced. If you look at it, comparing to 2019 and 2020-21, manual work is enormously reduced. So obviously, they have depended on IT automation process on everything and anything. Okay.
Okay.
Starting from our Zoom meeting and the process, all that, it's the IT automation if you look at it. Okay.
Okay.
So understand those softwares, try and learn those software which helps in IT automation for a company. Okay.
Okay.
Obviously, that will help them in getting into hiring rather than hiring you and training you. That doesn't even matter at all, because gone are the days where employees are ready to train you and train you 6 months for testing, 6 months in .NET, and then putting you on project. Gone all the days. Okay. We are not at all in that era. Right now, employers are looking for ready to work candidates. Okay.
Okay.
So that means we will be penetrating to your CV and understand whether you have got a real-time exposure in getting any certifications on IT automation softwares. Okay. So to understand this, you go to LinkedIn Naukri page where they will regularly publish what are the IT automation tools which they are regularly hiring. Okay. So Naukri.com is India's #1 job portal where a lot of recruiters, be it agency recruiters or corporate recruiters, are hiring massively on a day-to-day basis. So there they publish their skill requirement on a day-to-day basis in LinkedIn company page of Naukri. Okay. So there you be active in understanding which are all the industries which are booming, which are all hiring happening, which are all the skills which you are hired in from the recruiter. All that immediate data you'll get it. Okay. Then pick up those softwares and try to do a certification. #1. Okay. #2, there are a lot of sites which provides internship with stipend, without stipend, all that. The popular one is Internshala, but there are a lot of other sites. If you put like free internship and all that, you'll get 20 to 30 sites where they're offering internship. Okay. Okay. Which will become your pre-exposure to a full-time job.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay. Suddenly,
mostly paid with salary also in that particular internships. Are we getting paid?
Some companies offer stipend, some companies offer free. But I would say get into that first. Forget about stipend because you're coming from a academic background for last 12, 13 years, 15 years, whatever. Okay. So suddenly if you get into a job, it will be a great hiccup on expectations part. Okay. They'll be having huge expectation where you may not be able to provide on that first place. Okay. But being an intern, you are not responsible for anything. To execute. You are just only supporting them on their projects, which you are also in the learning stage, so that they will accept. Okay. Okay. So pick up some internship where there are 3 months to 6 months internship, be it stipend, be it non-paid. Go for it with a better company, so that it gives you a lot of confidence in terms of getting exposure.
Okay, fine. I just completed the internship. And now as a fresher, now I need to get a salary. But as a fresher, should I negotiate with the salary or to accept whatever the salary they're giving? Or as a recruiter, what would you expect if a fresher is trying to do salary negotiations? And what is your advice on that particular part?
Good question again. First of all, fix up your number on what is your costing on that particular job. Okay. So earlier, how we calculated when physical offices are functioning is, it is only on the costing on our transportation, food expenses, other expenses, and a couple of costing will come, and we manage to work on the certain costing and arrive at a salary. Okay, I I daily commute, I do food. So it becomes 5,000, 6,000. And then I'll add up some more aspect and then say 8,000 is my acceptable number. Okay, that way.
Okay.
But now the thing is, you're working from home, you don't have much of expenses, these, that. So at this point, you will have to compromise because your competition is not only with your city, but it is with all over India. So in that case, if you consider, you're competing with the 10,000 profiles. Okay. So now if you look into more seriousness on the salary part, then it becomes a challenge or delayed process in getting into a job. Okay. At the same time, don't compromise, but whatever is very standard, do some research on what is the acceptable number or the similar level of candidates, whatever they are getting, all that you will have to work out. One is how the industry pays. Retail industry may as much good as a telecom industry or insurance industry. Okay. That classification you should have, number one. Number two, Bangalore CTC may not be asked by a Coimbatore guy. Okay. So that categorization is what is required. But once you figure out, okay, sometimes we don't even know what to ask.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you wait for the things like you play around with the words, like you tell them as per industry standards. Okay. Then get an offer letter first of all. Okay. Understand whether it is okay with you to manage your expenses, daily expenses and all that. And when it comes to job, the salary is not the only factor to consider. It is all how much exposure I can get for next 2 years.
Okay.
So see, when I completed MBA, my alumni, my last meeting with my professors went like this. My professor said, boss, don't work for first 2 years. I mean, don't work for salary for first 2 years. Okay. This is also one of the, again, PG you are doing. Think that way and gain some exposure. Okay. Then you demand a salary. Okay. Because you don't have anything to sell because you are also an MBA. The other 10,000 candidates is also an MBA.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. There is no value addition to your profile as far as an MBA concerned. Okay. So at least IT guys will have certification differentiation. They can showcase, okay, I've done Java certification. I have certified Java certified. I mean, that differentiation you can showcase. But in MBA, you don't have anything to showcase.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah. So this is what my professor said. So I could only repeat that. Like first 2 years, don't think about salary. Just gain exposure with a good company, which will definitely make you sellable in the long years.
Okay. So as a fresher, I should set my mindset into the learning mode instead of earning mode. That is what I am learning from you right now. And another thing, okay, this is the case for fresher. And again, I'm talking something about the pandemic recruitment period. And if I am an experienced guy and I have at least 5 to 6 years of experience in my career, and I have decided to switch over to the next job, and the company is also very much happy after completing all the technical rounds. I have cleared all those rounds. And finally, they are coming into a salary path. So should I adjust my salary in the particular path as an experienced guy also?
No, as an experienced guy, you have these sellable skills, right? Now, over a period of 6 years, 7 years, you gain some experience. That is what you are selling at the first place. Okay. So you need not compromise on your salary part. If somebody is asking to settle down with your current salary, it's not a good company to go on because ultimately we have to grow. Okay. That is the first we have to become selfish on our own growth at the first place. There is nothing wrong in it. Okay. So obviously, they should not use our desperateness to negotiate on the salary. So obviously, you should ask for more, but the CTC negotiation you should be open for. Okay. It's not that you have to stick it to, if at all you have 30% hike in the mind and you expose that, okay, I want 30%, then still don't stick it to 30%. You open for a negotiation. Okay. Then understand what they are offering, whether it is they are negotiating 5% less or 10% less. All that you'll have to calculate and then have to move on. That is the way forward. Because ultimately, when see from a recruiter's perspective, if you are going at the salary discussion, it is understandable that you are almost selected.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, that kind of level you have crossed because technically you are qualified, HR round you are qualified, everything okay. Only the salary part, they will have their own budget and you will have to sync it with their requirement. That's all.
Okay. Okay.
Now,
So,
the negotiation part should not be very, very strong enough and sticking to number. Okay, you will have to also come down. They also have to come down. So that
it was just like selling my skill, like more or less it's like a sales. So I have to give a margin first, and I have to come down step by step. And also, in what basis should I choose a company? Based on that reputation of the company, number of years we have been into the industry, or the salary they are offering for my job description, or the work atmosphere, or the technologies or clients they have. What is the most important priority while selecting a company that will give me happiness in my career?
obviously we have to run our life. So salary is most important. Okay.
Okay.
Second thing is what we can learn exposure wise, because over a period of time, we should grow to the level of a leadership role. Okay.
Okay.
So you'll have to understand the factor that whether my next job will help me in getting an exposure into a leadership role or not. Okay.
Okay.
So you think like you are an individual contributor at this point in time, and the next job is also asking for an individual contributor. That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So then they have to observe you as a team leader so that you gain an exposure at a team leader level.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay.
Whether that elevation is there happening or not, that you have to calculate.
Okay.
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 A lot of IT people, what I could see is, okay, I'm an individual contributor. The next company is also asking for an individual contributor, but I will give you 5,000 extra. Okay.
Mm.
So inspiring on salary, they just get into that, but still they don't have an exposure on the horizontal space.
Okay.
They don't have a functional experience and exposure on handling a team or a leadership criticality exposure or handling a larger complex project that will make them miss out during after 15 years, which they will suffer.
Mm. Okay. Okay.
Your aim is to go to a CXO level. That is the vision you should have.
Oh, okay. Great.
Okay. So for that, what all will give you exposure and experience? That is what you will have to club it during your career. Otherwise, there is no point, because I see on a day-to-day basis, a lot of people come and just because of missing exposure, they're missing great opportunities.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Okay. And tell you a hint, leadership profile demands for three things. Okay. One is whether you have worked on a large complex project. Number one.
Okay.
Second, whether you have global exposure or work with foreign clients.
Okay. Okay.
Whether you work in Australia, Canada, or UK, US, those kind of an exposure, because it's a great stakeholder experience, customer facing experience.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Third will be the team size. What is the large team size you have handled? Because that gives your leadership quality on how you handle the entire team and executed the project.
Okay.
These three elements you will have to check whether my next job will offer any of the one pointer which will give me an exposure in my career growth.
Okay.
If you decide that and if it is okay, then you can move on. Otherwise, no point in moving.
Like as you told, if I'm not having those kind of leadership qualities, I'm not in the picture. But fine, I have to develop the leadership quality, but I'm just waiting for an opportunity. And if I'm poorly skilled, and is there any shortcuts to impress the recruiters?
For honest growth, there is no shortcuts. It's only what you can bring it to the table is what the recruiters like us will look at it. Because when we are reviewing your CV, obviously we are reviewing 10 CVs. Okay. The one thing you can improvise is on the presentation in the CV, because that's most crucial. Okay. As a recruiter, I review 15 CVs, 20 CVs in a day, which is a traditional CV on a day-to-day basis. But when we review a unique CV, like an infographic CV, okay, which we do in our own company, providing infographic resume, that impresses a lot because that gives a snapshot of information on what I'm trying to offer rather than I'm telling you 25 points of information. Okay.
Okay.
Which a recruiter obviously may not have time to read all the 25 points.
Okay.
Okay. Whereas in infographic CV, I can put a bar chart and show what is my skill set. Simple. Within 2 seconds, 3 seconds, I can understand what is your contribution. Okay. That is the only way of impression you can create to get into a shortlisting mode at the first place.
Okay.
There is the possibility. But during interview, it's your own skill and other things which you have to expose during a real-time interview. Otherwise, presentation, you need to be very, very serious because you are one among the 1,000 candidates.
Yeah.
Okay. And resume is the first document where it goes before us. Okay.
True. Okay.
So it has to work on its own. So some people ask, okay, tell me about yourself. After having resume also, they'll ask a lot of things because they didn't have even time to read everything. So after inviting you, they'll ask basic questions. That means they have not read. They don't have time. Okay.
Yeah.
But when you make it as an infographic presentation with a snapshot and bar chart, pie chart, flow diagrams and all that, it becomes easy. Okay, this is the guy which we are looking at.
Yeah. So helping the recruiters on reading my profile is my job. So if I do that and the recruiter, there is a shortcut. I think I found a shortcut actually right now. I will be the one where if I have a very good profile, well crafted, well designed profile, I can impress. So is that only the design thing I have to look after into my profile, or is there something else in the profile? As you told, you have to include all this infographic, the designs and all the stuff. What does it have to do with the profile? Is that only thing, the design thing I have to improvise? Like I have a very bad resume, so I have to improvise my design and how to give it to be a presentable one. Is that the only thing how to upgrade myself in my profile, or is there anything else?
Best is again going back to our research process where you can firstly, when you're going to an interview, you know which company you are going. So secondly, you have to go to LinkedIn and understand what is the job description they are asking for. Okay. So understand a couple of job description and understand what they are expecting and curate your content according to that particular company's role so that it makes a lot of sync in terms of expectations and supply. Okay. And one more thing you can do is go to LinkedIn and look for people who are in the same designation so that you know what they are doing.
Okay.
So these two research, one is job posting of that particular company. Say, for example, you are going for Flipkart for a, what you call e-commerce manager or something. Okay. Or a digital marketing guy. Okay. So then their expectation will be, being in e-commerce industry, they will be look for somebody who has larger exposure, wider exposure from a different industry. Okay. Whether that experience you have or not, that you have to calculate and then process the content which is relevant. Should not fake, but it should be more relevant. Right?
Okay.
And understand people search. Go for Flipkart and do a people search in LinkedIn. You will get to know what all the other peoples have done in their job responsibilities. So you have a whole lot of research and understanding on what they will expect during an interview and what kind of potential questions they'll ask. Then you curate your content accordingly into your executive summary, work profile, all that, and give a representation of what they are asking for. Okay, whether they need a certification extra, whether they need a particular industry experience, that you will get to know. If you penetrate the job description, they will minutely mention, okay, if somebody is from telecom industry, it's a plus. If this certification is there, it is a plus. That's your clue. Okay. So that element you highlight in your resume so that it matches the expectations.
How to identify whether they will call back or not? The most common word all these recruiters are telling, okay, we will call back to you. Please wait. So should I alert that this job will not be confirmed, or should I wait for some more time? And that I don't know, because many people are telling that. I don't know whether I'm underskilled or something like that. But what should I think about that? What should I take the response? Should I wait, or should I move on to the next job? I have to keep on applying on all other jobs randomly, or instead I have to wait for that particular job?
let's understand the hiring process and recruitment process before I answer the question. Okay.
Okay.
So when it comes to job market or hiring, we have two things in place. One is published jobs. Second thing is unpublished jobs. Okay. So published jobs, what I mean is whatever you can see through portals, Naukri, Monster, Times Job, LinkedIn, all the job postings is a published job where whatever you can see, the rest of 1,000 people also can see.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Obviously, you're competing with all the people whoever is seeing the job postings. Number one. Okay. Number two, applying to jobs like this, you will be one among the 500 candidates where your resume is one of the 500 resumes in the entire bucket.
Okay.
Okay. So obviously, it's a delayed process because if you think manually, when I receive a job, when I receive the response to my job posting, 500 receives in my mailbox, you can consider the amount of time I have to eliminate resume one by one, and then arrive at a 5 shortlist candidates.
Okay.
Think about the time consumption where I'm arriving from a total pool of candidates who are shortlisted 5 candidates. Obviously, the delayed process is huge. Okay. Second thing is, you may not even know why I'm not shortlisted.
Okay,
you don't have a clue. Like as you rightly said, I've applied, but I haven't even got a call. Okay, that's a complaint. Comes from various people, right from freshers to CXO. This is what happens when you apply to a job, where you are applying to a blind well, which you don't even have a clue on what is happening. Whereas unpublished jobs, when we talk about, as a recruiter, when we receive a job description, we source profiles from LinkedIn and Naukri. Okay. When we are sourcing, we use combination of skill sets. Okay. Say for example, I need a Java developer. Okay. My combination will be somebody who has got a certification in Java, plus engineering background, plus that location, plus that CTC, plus the notice period. Okay. These are all the things because I have to start a project from June 1st. So obviously I have to look for somebody who can join on May 31st.
Oh, okay.
So these combination, whoever is available, I'll be using my keywords in LinkedIn, Naukri, and other sites and source profiles where my number of candidates will be only 5 to 10 for considering. Okay. Because resume-wise, it is matching to my requirement. My only next job is to call these candidates one by one, where out of 10, I'll be calling 5, 6 candidates where if at all they are ready, if they are okay, I'll be calling for an interview. Now, answering to your question straight away, if you don't get a call back after the first round of interview, after 3 days, 4 days, obviously it's a no-show.
Oh, okay.
Because the time taken from a recruiter to hiring managers is max to max 3 days. After that, they have to give a shortlist list of candidates for next round of interviews because they are in a hurry to close the question.
Oh, okay.
Still, you can wait because there will be some or the other reason get stuck and all that is fine. More than 10 days, if you are not getting a single call, you can consider this as a closure.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
Give a bucket of time. There is nothing wrong. There will be multiple priorities to them. They could have worked for multiple requirements. We may not know. Okay. That it is not the only question they are working. They are working for 15 positions. Okay. We may not know which is a priority. So we have to give a considerable amount of time. 10 days is a good time. Even after 10 days, if you are not getting a call, you have a right to call back to that recruiter if you have a phone number and ask for feedback. Yes or no, they have to tell and decide accordingly. As simple as that.
Okay. So that's great. So I also personally felt like, very difficult. Like I thought, okay, I have to improve my skill. I have to upskill all my knowledge and all those. I have to gather all kind of experience. I have to travel here in order to move to a better career in my future. But now I'm just thinking I have to upgrade my profile. So because of the crowd and overcrowded Indian youth community, so I have to fight back really hard on upskilling my profile first. So that is what I have learned from this series of questions. How the hiring trend has been changed. In my opinion, what I've done was after college studies, I don't have got any placements in my college. So there is even zero placements. And I just wandered here and there, and I went for some interviews, and I just got rejected. So how about the recent days? How the recruiting pattern has been changed? Is there any specific insight, like the recruitment has been changed in something different way that like people like us is not aware of that? So is there any particular interesting hiring trend has been changed?
This is a very interesting question to answer, because retrospectively, if you could see the process wise, you talk about your timing on how you did job search and all that. In our timing, it is even more worst, where we have to wait for Sunday classifieds. Hindu paper, they'll publish all the job postings on Sunday and Wednesday. Okay. We are only left with this option. There is no job portal. There is nothing, nothing to go for. Okay, even campus placements are very less when you talk about those timings. Like Coimbatore is a place where I started my career. So you can think about campus placement in Coimbatore, which is very less. Okay, so we have to depend upon only Sunday classified and Wednesday classified, where we have to depend. But now the thing is, it's increased to 200%, 300% of avenues, more number of avenues for a job offer. Okay, because there is an enormous number of companies have grown, enormous industries has grown. The way of a traditional job is not there right now. The hybrid model, the micro level model, freelancing stuff, remote jobs, work from home jobs, there are enormous avenues to work. Okay. It is up to us and up to our skill to capitalize those opportunities to start with the entire process. Okay. Now you don't have to wait for things to happen. Okay. If you have a skill, if you have a quick certification on anything, you can start as a freelancer. If you have a great skill. Okay. So that kind of a platforms are really available. To name a few, there is one website called workflexi.com where they offer exclusive platform for freelancers. Okay. Be it content writer, be it SEO, be it graphic designer, whatever it is, you can upload your profile and people will start searching these gig workers. Second platform is workandhire.com, which also provides an opportunity to freelance work from home opportunities. Okay. So now, answering to your regular question, now when it comes to full-time jobs, the opportunities are immense. Okay. Where our major sourcing of platform is LinkedIn and Naukri again. Okay. Where the database is already there. Only thing is we'll have to work on our expectation of combination of skill set and source candidates. Okay. Number two, the referral model, because referral becomes even more helpful in terms of trust factor. Okay. Suppose I have to appoint a finance executive or accounts executive. It is more towards cash dealing, finance dealing and all that, where I cannot recruit a guy where I'm nowhere familiar. Okay. That way I'll look for trust in terms of accounts, finance, or anything related to cash dealings, finance dealings. I look for trust, where my employee referral will be a great support. Okay. So for employee referral to happen, you have to have a lot of networking capabilities at the first place. Okay. Only if you start networking from the student life itself, through LinkedIn and other platforms, you will have familiarity with much of people. And once you establish a relationship, you can ask for a reference. People, freshers and students category, they are spending more time on Instagram and Facebook. But I would recommend to get into LinkedIn and start networking, because it's again a social media, but it's a professional social media. That's all the difference is. But here people come with a purpose, serious purpose. Either they will come for knowledge, understanding about the insight about the job market and business, or come for networking, right? or come for serious publishing of content. These are the serious needs of a LinkedIn user. Okay. So you have to showcase your profile as a branded profile. Okay. Only then your profile connectivity and all that people will be interested. Right. See, when a lot of people say, okay, I'm searching for an MNC, I'm searching for an MNC. Why you're looking for an MNC? Because it's a brand which you are targeting. Okay. Where it has been taught to you that these are biggies by repeated news, these, that, and all that. They are developing their brand through various avenues. Okay. But think about the other way. MNCs, who they will search? They will also search for experts, right? They are not ready to recruit a guy who has mentioned, I'm looking for a job change in LinkedIn profile. That's not going to happen. Okay. When I'm looking for a full stack developer, I will be looking for a full stack developer with hardcore experience, projects, internship, all that. Okay. And he should show passion towards his publishing of content in LinkedIn. Then I feel, okay, this guy is something regularly publishing and all that. So he must be an expert. Let me recruit him. That's the idea will pop up as a recruiter. Okay. So you are searching an MNC, but MNC is searching for experts only. Okay. Are you an expert? That is the question you have to ask for yourself. And are you branding yourself as an expert in LinkedIn? That's the second question you have to ask. If not, you have to kickstart immediately with LinkedIn optimization.
I have all the questions are my knowledge, and I just realizing I have done a lot of mistakes. So, is there any many mistakes we have been done by the job seekers? Is there any particular thing we have to change on immediately right now to land into a dream career? So, what are the core mistakes what we are doing right now as a job seeker, and what improvements we have to make? Can you please elaborate in detail? So, I am seeing that GS Kumar, it's a career upgradation company. So, what kind of services you are offering for upgrading the career skills or knowledge? I don't know exactly what you're doing. So, can you please elaborate exactly?
Let's not call it as a mistake, because everybody makes mistakes in jobs and careers when we are coming from an academic background and searching for a job. The gap element, what I could see is the assumptions towards various things in job market, where job market is the space where everybody can gossip without even having a proper data or knowledge. So when it happens to job search process, what people assume is I have to prepare a resume, which I can download from Google, put my tabular column, 10th, 12th BE projects, this, that, curriculum. My resume is ready. Okay, that is the first assumption. Second assumption, I'm applying to 100 jobs, Naukri, LinkedIn, these, that, I've sent to friends, 100 jobs are applied. Okay, my job search process is done. It is up to them to call me. Okay, that is a mindset people are having. Okay, so which is a wrong way of thinking and getting into a wrong direction. Okay, when it comes to a job search process, what you can count on is the number of interactions and not the number of applications.
Okay.
Whether you have done an interaction on a job a problem statement or a job agenda, that becomes a countable number. Say, for example, your friend's brother is working in a company and you speaking to them and sending your resume. That's countable. Okay. He has to say yes or no or what happened. Okay, that's countable. Okay. You're traveling and sitting somebody next to you is working for a company and you're sharing your credentials and career thing, discussing career and asking for help, that you can count because you have discussed and he has a first information about you, that he can also help you in getting you a job or refer you in a company. That you can count. Okay. Unless you haven't spoken, you cannot count it. Okay. Then maintain a data on how much you have spoken, whether you have connected with LinkedIn and reached out to a potential employer or recruiter and made effort to speak to a recruiter. That's an effort. Okay. Otherwise, forwarding to WhatsApp groups, forwarding to Facebook groups, applying to 100 jobs doesn't even count. That's the understanding we should have at the first place, so that we don't end up in a wrong direction and get frustrated.
Exactly. Okay. Okay. Great. Great.
For freshers, typically we do a NLP-based assessment test where we give a right direction on what is their passion, depending on their behavioral pattern and brain pattern, so that it gives a right top 10 career options according to their skill set, inborn skill set, rather than going for a job where they are very unproductive and unhappy.
Okay. Okay.
Number one. Number two, we help in preparing their infographic resume, which will definitely inspire the recruiter. Because I myself, as a recruiter, I know what a recruiter is looking for. So accordingly, I customize the entire offering, be it content or be it look and feel, the color combination presentation, we give it to us, so that the success rate is even more better in terms of
So it's very big relief for us. It's very big relief for us. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And the third thing is we offer SEO, search engine optimization, in the number one job portal, Naukri.com, where most of the recruiters use profiles.
Okay.
Okay. Where, like how a website is being made for Google standards, you have to offer your Naukri profile according to Naukri algorithm and artificial intelligence.
Okay.
Okay. It has come with its own exclusive algorithmic requirement where I can come up and help you, because I used as a recruiter. Okay. So I know the user interface of the Naukri, so that I can help you what are the hidden aspects which you can manipulate and then get more visibility with the recruiters.
Okay. Okay.
So this is something, a guaranteed offering we can give for people who have not even got a single interview. We have made a lot of people daily interview, even daily interviews we have provided. That level of results we have brought for people who are at career break, people who wanted to do a career transition, for all those people who haven't got challenges. Like most of the people have challenges in not getting interview calls. We give assurance on 90 days interviews.
Wow.
Okay. Within 90 days, no matter who you are, interviews will be guaranteed.
Wow. Okay. Just like your physical fitness, I have to be career fit. So that is what I learned.
Exactly. You have to improve your technical muscle.
Wow. Okay.
So if that is set, there is no room for rejecting you, because whatever they are asking, you are providing. It's as simple as that.